Hey everybody, it's Boo Ray Perry from Tampa, Florida, and today I want to talk about my favorite Fuji film sim for black and white. Before we get started, first I have to apologize. Have you missed me? I know, I haven't posted a video in a while, but we moved a few months ago. We moved into a new house, and if you've moved with a family, you know how extensive that can be, and all the stuff you have to do, and all the things you have to do to the new house, right? It's a new house, but you still have so much stuff you have to do. We just put a fence up last week, for example. And then right on top of that, I also got really, really busy with work. I mean, I've just been jammed. I've been doing headshots every day. I've been doing bar mitzvahs every weekend. It's just been nuts, and I feel bad for having neglected you. But I'm back now. I don't know how quickly I'll be able to get these videos up, but I had a day today where I could get one up, so I wanted to work on this because this is what I've been working on recently. I went down this rabbit hole. I posted a video about this. If you don't know how to put a custom film sim on your camera, I have got a video about that. I'll put a link right up here for you. And I kind of went down that rabbit hole after having avoided it for years. I really didn't want to get into the custom film. I thought there's enough film sims built into the camera. I don't need to start designing my own. And then, I don't know, in a moment of weakness, I decided just to try some. And woo boy, just as I suspected, I really got into it. You avoid things because you don't want to really get into them. This is why I don't have a drone, by the way, is because I know if I got a drone, suddenly I'd be all about the drone. So there's this website called Fuji X Weekly, and it is a great, great website for film sims, and I'll put a link down in the description for you. You can go there and you can find tons of film sims specific to the sensor that is in your Fuji camera. Right? And then you can put those into your camera and save them in one of, I think, 7 or 9 different custom saving sets that you have in your camera. And then you can use them whenever you feel like it. So the question is, why would you want to use these film sims? Well, the main reason is if you're a person who really wants to shoot JPEG straight out of camera and you don't want to have to do any post-editing, then the film sims become very, very helpful to you. And that was what I was trying to do with this particular film sim, because I noticed that whenever I shot black and white, and I love black and white, I would typically shoot color, then I would convert it to black and white, and then I would do certain tweaks to it. And I started to notice that I had a particular style. There was a look to black and white that I really, really liked. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could get this straight out of camera? And then I could immediately use the Fuji app to send it to my phone and then send it to Instagram or send it to my family or anyone else I wanted to right off the bat. Could I put myself in a position where I wasn't editing my images before showing them to people? That's a tough position to be in, especially if you're a professional photographer, because you're used to editing everything and you have all the tools and you have all the abilities to do all that editing. So it's hard to dial back on that. But I know that I will shoot more, I will share more if I can get something out of camera that I find is good enough for me. That I'm like, yeah, I'll show that. I don't feel like I have to fix it. Well, fix it. I have to change it. So that's what this is. I call it Boo Black and White. And like any film sim that you use, you usually start with someone else's film sim. So I started with someone else's film sim. I went shopping for the film sim that I thought would be the one that I liked. And I tried a couple of different film sims in black and white, and I was like, and then once you get a feel for them, you can start to tweak one, right? So you go in and change a few settings here and there that the person you got the film sim from has set, and then you finally find the one that you like. So I call it Boo Black and White because it's the one that I tweaked to the way that I like it. I'm going to put everything up on the screen for you, but here's how you set it up in your camera. Go to your custom film settings section, and you want to put, you want to start off with the film sim. You want to start off with acro screen. That's your starting film sim, because that's my starting film sim when I shoot black and white in the camera is acro screen. That's what I always use. So let's start with what I already use. That's gonna do a lot of what I want it to do, right? So we start with acro screen, set your white balance to auto, set your dynamic range to 100, set your tone curve, and this is what really this whole film sim is about, set your tone curve to highlights +2 and shadows +2. And then set your sharpness to +2. So this isn't a lot of custom settings because it's black and white. You don't have to mess with color. You don't have to mess with that curve. But what it really does is the highlights and the shadows and the sharpness are going to add more contrast, which is what I like in my black and white images. So let's take a look at a couple of images compared side by side and see what I'm talking about here. So I just took a couple of images around the house because I just want to really pay attention to the difference in regular acros and this film sim, which I call Boo Black and White, because whenever possible, I like to put my name on things. So here it is. This is regular acros, and I'm shooting in manual mode, so all my settings are the same. And then this is Boo Black and White. Do you see a difference? No? You don't see a difference? Well, there is a difference there, and it's a difference that I notice, and that's why I love it. So let's put them up side by side. Here you go. Side by side. Look at the whites and look at the darks, and you will see that this image is a little bit more mid-tone than this image is. Look at the fence back here. You see how white this is. Now look at white, how white this is. See, this is where your highlights +2 is going to make a difference. There's just a little more contrast in this scene, and the sharpness is also a little bit greater. And for me, it gives me a black and white that is very close to what I like when I adjust it in post-processing. Now here's another two right here. The one on the right and the one on the left. Look right here on this one. Look at the difference, the contrast between this white area and this dark area, and then look at it over here. Do you see how this white area, you can see more detail here. And here, it's a little bit more blown out. But I actually like that. I mean, it goes against what they say you're supposed to do with photography. With photography, you're supposed to be able to see detail in the whites. But with black and white, I actually like for the white areas to be a little brighter and to be a little bit blown out because it gives me the contrast that I want. So you can see this is just a little bit more bright, a little bit streak of white here compared to on this side. See, this white here is brighter than this white. This is more gray right here. Just that little bit, just that little change can make a difference for me. And here's the thing. If you're saying to yourself, I don't want to mess with film sims, because I didn't mess with them for years. You might be at a point where you find yourself not taking your camera with you when you go out and about, right? You might be at a point where you're like, I notice I'm not shooting as much as I used to. Film sims can help you to spark yourself again. Because once I started playing with film sims, I started carrying my camera with me to places I normally don't carry my camera, just because I wanted to look for opportunities to try out this film sim. This is the corridor that leads to my dentist. So I took my camera with me to the dentist, just on the off chance that I would find a picture there. And this is something I hadn't done for years. But because I have this new film sim, because I'm playing with it, I start carrying it with me and getting new creative shots. I just love the tones here. I love that it's contrasty. There's not a lot of mid-tone, and the sharpness brings everything up. I just start looking for pictures anywhere I can find them. This is my daughter, and this is with the flash built into the Fuji. Listen, do not discount the flash built into the Fuji. You can do some cool stuff with the flash that's built into the Fuji. She likes it so much it's now her profile picture on Instagram. So I'm pretty proud of that. And then this one is the one. This is the picture for me. I did this on the day my daughter got graduated. These are my parents, both in their 80s, and they were just sitting there. And I knew with the light coming in that this was going to be an interesting image. And I used the Boo Black and White because I wanted to get this contrast and everything right in the camera. And as a result, I felt totally confident posting this picture right away and not second guessing myself over how the image looks. So there it is, Boo Black and White. You know, it's not much really, it's just a couple of little tweaks here and there. But I encourage you, if you haven't been messing with the film sims, yeah, let's get in there. Hang on, I need a sip. Let's get in there and start messing around with them a little bit. If you're shooting all the time, and you're just in love with your camera, then maybe you don't need the film sims. But if you're starting to be like, you know, hey, then yeah, try some film sims, and you'll be amazed at how much it can make you want to go shoot again. And this is my black and white sim. We haven't gotten into the colors, and I will try to make videos about the colors soon because we're going to talk about how I'm kind of not really shooting in classic chrome so much anymore with my Fuji X100V. I'm shooting in a specific a very specific film sim that I'm growing to love very much. So we're going to talk about that later. In the meantime, listen, if you've got some film sims that you love or some tips that you love, please put them down in the comments because I would love to learn about those. I would love to share those. And don't forget to go to my website, go to BooRayPerry.com, education, and you will find everything there. You will find my custom one-on-one coaching sessions that I do. Also, you will get links to my 2 free ebooks that I offer, as well as the ebooks that I charge very little money for. And there's a great discount code down here in the link, which will make them practically free. So you should definitely check those out because one of those is all about light and understanding light and shadow and finding the light, which if you're going to shoot black and white is just essential if you want to be a photographer. So be sure and check that out. And also follow me on Instagram and join my group on Facebook, Pro Photo Talk with Boo-Ray Perry. And throw me a like and a subscribe. If you would, please, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. I'll try to be back soon.